Today we're going to be discussing smart building skins in a few different forms. So first I want to introduce our topic, and that is smart building skins. As building evolves, so does the focus of new construction through the whole life cycle, and this includes design, construction or the installation phase, as well as post-construction or like the usage phase of a building or home. So one of the areas where building is really seeing a shift in focus is towards the area of sustainability. So the sustainability is becoming a factor in all of our lives, and that's because we're looking for ways to be better stewards of the earth, reducing our impact, and then this ultimately helps us save money with design choices. So construction naturally is going to follow what society wants, and that's why sustainability has become a huge factor in today's construction. So these smart skins or smart building skins are examples of the cutting edge in regards to sustainability efforts and integrating technology into as much of a building or home as is possible. So for the purposes of our exploration today, we're going to define a smart building skin as something that provides extra function and it benefits the carbon footprint and mostly by increasing the efficiency of the space, energy efficiency. We're going to be talking about smart roofing systems as well as building skins or cladding. So the roofing systems are solar systems, and then green roofs. For the building skins, we have an algae facade and then a light responsive facade. So first, let's talk about solar systems. So the main reason, obviously, most people are pretty familiar with solar systems. They obviously produce electricity with photovoltaic cells. So this lowers the carbon footprint of the building or house by producing energy or putting energy back on the grid. It lowers the carbon footprint. So that is how they help with sustainability. So the two pictures we have here, the top left is like the traditional solar panels that are bracket mounted on like a rack. They can be mounted on like a roof or on the ground even outside of like a building. But on the right, bottom right, we have the newer technology, and those are actually solar shingles. And those are very, very new and emerging technology, but they're starting to become available in a lot more styles, patterns, finishes, so they're a lot more aesthetically pleasing and they can actually be designed around because the panels really, I mean, people are starting to get used to them because they're being more adopted, but they're not that good looking. So performance-wise, the solar panels offer a little bit more efficiency than the new shingles, and they produce a little more power, but that mainly is because of the pitch of the roof. It can't be adjusted for. With the shingles, you're kind of stuck with what you got. With the panels, they can kind of change it based on the bracket to get you that exact right angle to face the sun. So this construction limitation is definitely something to keep in mind, but as we go forward and the shingles and the photovoltaic technology continues to develop, I'm sure we're going to really start to see solar become a huge part of all construction. So the next system is a green roof or a living roof, and basically it's just a roof that's either partially or completely covered with vegetation, has some sort of growable medium, soil, and then a waterproofing membrane underneath. There's typically a roof repellent system to keep the root repellent to keep the roots from puncturing that waterproof membrane. And then there's also sprinkler and drainage systems to ensure that if rainfall is scarce, that it stays in good shape. And then in the event of rainfall, if the soil doesn't soak up all the water, that it flows in an orderly fashion to a drain. So the main benefit of this is obviously energy efficiency again. Soil and organic materials have super high R values, and so by using a green roof, the insulation rating is going to go up tremendously. And a lot of energy is lost through the roof in the colder months, obviously as heat rises. And then during the summer, a lot of heat can be absorbed through the roof, through the sun. So this kind of helps keep both of those in check. But not only does it insulate the air, it also insulates extremely well against noise and electromagnetic radiation. So these pictures, we have a couple different examples. On the left side, you kind of see it doesn't necessarily have to be a whole roof. It just kind of provides a little bit of added character and sustainability. It looks good to the public. The house on the top right has a full grass roof, pretty basic, but obviously a very modern looking house. And then on the bottom, we have kind of a usage space. It looks like they've got some pergolas set up in like bushes and trees, so it looks good. People can kind of hang out up there and feel good about it. So now we're going to move on to the cladding systems, and the first one we're going to talk about is the algae facades. This is very new technology, unveiled in Germany in 2013. So I mean, 7 years ago, and you probably still haven't seen it anywhere. Essentially, these large panels of water, and you can see on this picture to the right, these large panels are filled with water, and algae grows in them. And algae obviously absorbs sunlight and creates heat and biomass. The biomass is harvested and used for biofuels and other products, and the heat generated can be used to heat water or to heat the building, or the energy can be stored to be used later. And the way it works is, if you see those air bubbles on the right side on that picture, pressurized air is forced up through the chamber, and that stimulates the algae to react with the sunlight. So as those air bubbles kind of move up, the algae goes through photosynthesis. And then the picture on the left is the building completed. It kind of has like a greenish tint, and they just did it on two sides that were more exposed to the sun. And just for a quick comparison, solar panels have around 12 to 15% efficiency of conversion of sunlight into energy, and these algae panels are starting at around 10%. So a little less, but still somewhat comparable in terms of energy efficiency of converting sunlight. So the last example we'll talk about today is the light reactive facade. So this type of facade reacts to sunlight to help shield the building, the inside of the building. And the main reason for this is conserving energy by reflecting or blocking the sunlight from entering, and it obviously helps reduce glare for people inside. So the current example that I want to show, and really the best example that I've found, is what you see in the pictures, and that is the Al Bahar Towers in Abu Dhabi. So obviously Abu Dhabi is desert, and they get a ton of sun, super hot. So these buildings are made of glass, and so basically these shades are able to open and close and you can see in the top left, on the left side of that picture it's closed, and on the right side it's open. And then you can see in the images is a combination of open and closed shades. They're mounted about 2 meters away from the glass, and they're computer controlled. So as the sun moves around the building, the shades close and open with the sun. And they're actually able to reduce the solar gain of these buildings by up to 50%, which saves enormous amounts of money on air conditioning in their climate. And I think this system is also very cool because it is based on an Islamic cultural tradition called Mayu Shiba. That is the lattice. It's a lattice type structure that helps provide shade, a little bit of shade, but you can also see really well through it. So I think this is definitely the most architecturally and aesthetically pleasing example of a smart building skin that we're going to see for now. So in conclusion, as the priorities of the world and people around us change, as part of the construction field, our responsibility is to also adapt and adjust to incorporate the changing needs and desires of our clients. So with sustainability and integration of technology being a major focus, we're seeing this transcend into how we build and design houses, buildings, and everything in between. So the smart building skin systems that we discussed today are really on the forefront of what us as builders are going to start to see adopted more and more as society places an increasing importance on sustainability and technological integration. Thanks.